And welcome back to the cEDH sermon. I'm Trevor. How are you, Ian?
Good. I'm good. And we have one more person to introduce. We've got Jose from the Blight Club. What's up, dude?
Hi, guys. I'm excited to talk about the most banned books of the 2023-24 school year. So thank you for having me on.
Oh, yeah. We'd love to hear about that. But there are more important things to talk about. We've got the Blight Club, which I know a little bit about. We were chatting a little bit, but we didn't want to. We started talking and we're like, we need to shut up and record this. So we stopped talking, we hit record, and here we are. So today we're going to be going through Jose's entire life story and how he got to the Blight Club. So if you fast forward to about an hour is where the Blight Club stuff will actually start. So Jose, give us your entire life story right now.
Yeah. So my mother and father met on the bright white sands of Acapulco. Fast forward. Blight Club last year started, summer. A group of friends, really. It was a group of guys that I play Magic with. I naturally gravitated towards cEDH just because I like the competitive nature of things. And I tried pushing my pet deck and my pet commander, which is Volrath, into the cEDH landscape of TNKs, Kinnons, and the like, and said my pet deck is not up to snuff. So what we did is we said, okay, well, let's start a league. We had a good group of people here in San Antonio, Texas, and it was essentially my way of gathering my group of friends that I most enjoyed playing with together in one single room to try to be the best. Try to be the best brewer, right? Best brewer, best deck, and best player, right? I think those are the three main things, right? It's just what can you brew, how can you pilot it, and may the best player win.
Absolutely. So your pet deck was Volrath, the Shape Stealer?
Yeah, Volrath. It was a Sultai deck.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's not a bad color combo for cEDH.
No, it's actually it was really, really good. It started in kind of this this casual landscape, right? And so the first iteration was an infect, completely infect driven, stealing people's Skithrix, hitting for 7 infect, which was really fun. And so it was just proliferate at that point or try to beef Volrath up. But it couldn't compete, right? It was in this kind of sweet spot of too powerful for casual and too weak for competitive. And so I've had maybe 8 to 10 iterations of this deck. Tried to push it, and finally the final iteration, right? The final form of Volrath was let's just make infinite mana, let's add Kinnan in there, let's add Basalt Monolith, and let's put some clones in there to try to steal other people's commanders. And let's try to do our own thing with what they're trying to do, which was really, really fun. But still, it always fell short of what it could do. Based on the other 3 people, just because it's always a 1 versus 3, right? In any sort of competitive pod.
Absolutely. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to be at a disadvantage. So how can you get an edge?
And I love that you have Kinnan and Basalt in there, because if I have blue and green in my color combinations for whatever deck, somehow Kinnan and Basalt just winds up in there. Oopsies, here's my infinite mana. I can't help myself.
It's one of those things to where I think you hit it on the head, right? You hit the nail on the head to where you say, if you're playing a color combination, why aren't you playing the best cards in that color or in that combination of colors? And so what that turns into is a discussion of, well, if we're playing competitive, then we should be playing the best cards. And that's the come to Jesus moment that I had with Volrath is I'm playing Sultai. Why aren't I playing, Tasigur? Still Fringe, right? But better deck, arguably, maybe better than Volrath. If you're playing Sultai, why not add in white, a splash of white, and play TNT? So I think that is the real make or break. And, if you want to bring into what the whole WotC thing is, or, what WotC's doing right now with tiers, is Volrath sits really pretty in the tier 4 list, right? The way I think of the tier system is tier 4, tier 5 are your cEDH decks. Your tier 4 are going to be your Fringe decks. Your tier 5 decks are going to be your tournament. Like, this is your meta. Like, tier 5 is meta. You sit down at a meta pod. We're all tier 5. We don't have to talk about what kind of tutors you have. What are you playing? It's just like, no, are you going to win or are you going to not?
And you could still bring, hypothetically speaking, a tier 4 deck to a tournament and try and make it work. I feel like that's how a lot of commanders kind of break into that, next level. Something like Winota, who's been struggling lately, but when she was first printed, you have all these brewers and pilots kind of collectively as a community, here's my iteration, here's mine. And then all of a sudden she starts winning games and winning tournaments and sort of the best version of, that maybe seen as more of a fringe commander, and it becomes totally viable. Now, nowadays, I feel like she's a lightning rod and suffers a little bit due to the color combination and just the more powerful decks out there. But so I always like encouraging on the other side of the coin of what we're talking about, people to still experiment and, bring those Volrath decks, try and make it as powerful as possible. Who knows? You might figure out some sort of combination that wasn't thought of before.
Absolutely. I think you're selling Blight Club to me. Which is essentially what
I'm selling you your own company.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'm sold. I want to join Blight Club right now. So yeah, basically that's essentially what it is. Blight Club has now turned into this almost like a training ground. We're proxy open, completely proxy friendly. The only limitation is that whenever you show up to the week session, you play the deck that you came with. And for the 3 rounds that you have for the night, you play the deck. And then after the night, you say, hey, either my deck's great or my deck sucks. Let me try to switch it around and we'll come in next week and try to get maximum points. So yeah, basically it's what it turned into. And naturally, I don't play that much because I'm running the weekly events. But of course, now I'm playing TNT, right? And it's a variation of Volrath. I still run Protean lines in my variation of TNT just because it's fun and I love Protean Hulk. My Protean Hulk lines in Volrath are much better served with a Grand Abolisher. And so naturally it's brew. Do as much as you can to bring your own personality to the game, right? Because we don't want to stifle your self-expression, which I think a lot of this is magic itself. If you're brewing, you're in the nerdiest way you can think of, you're a wizard, right? So what can you do? What can you do? What can you bring in? Show me what you got. If you're playing black, why are you not playing OBM, right? Why are you not playing Orcish Bowmasters? Why are you not playing tutors? So there's always staples that you're going to be running in every color. But can these staples, right? Can you cut some of these to bring out your personality? Can you put your own flavor on things? And I'm all for encouraging your own flavor. So yes, from a club standpoint, I want you guys, I want everybody to be bring your own sense of identity into your deck, make it work, and if you can, do it, and if you can't, you have next week to be better. But the zero, the rule or turn zero discussion is never there. It's not well, how powerful is your deck? Well, let's save that for the casual pods. There's a time and place, right? Not to disparage the casual pods, because I think tier 1, 2, and 3 serve a purpose. I'm all for that. The last casual game I ran was a month ago, and it was teaching someone how to play. But the whole purpose is to win.
Yeah.
And if you're as far as Blight Club goes, right? As far as tournaments go, the whole purpose is to win. But EDH, I think, has this very amazing type of self-identity to where it is a casual format. And so naturally, there's always some sort of inkling in there of let's create community, right? Let's have this be a fun game. Let's crack open beers if you're of legal drinking age, because I have to say that.
You
let's
don't.
Let's have fun. I do, because I'm in the spot that I'm in, right? If you're under 21, don't drink, unless you're in Europe, which good for you. But if you're over 21 and you're playing Magic, have a couple beers, sit down with some friends, try to win. If you want to crack open a casual pod, enjoy your next 5 hours of playing Magic. But in those same 5 hours, can we crank in 5 games of cEDH? I'd much rather do that with cEDH than one casual pod.
That's what really has drawn me to it is, I started playing. I don't think anyone, or I shouldn't say that, but like most people, by a large majority, don't just start playing competitive Commander. They play casually and they build up their deck, especially because it's even with proxies, it still can be an expensive game. So people usually build cheap budget decks, and I feel like cEDH is that thing in the back of almost every person's mind when they first start of, well, how powerful can I make this? What if I just keep adding better cards? What if I just keep tweaking it? I think there's a cEDH player in everyone, even the most casual people that are like, well, I don't want these hyper fast games. I just want to hang out. There's still that part of them that's like, I wonder if I could make this Commander competitive. I wonder how powerful could it be? In the wise words of Emperor Palpatine, do it. So it's yes.
Yeah, dude, go for it. Like, who cares? Like, put in the most powerful things. I don't care. I mean, I think anybody that we associate ourselves with as far as competitive goes, nobody's going to fault you for winning turn 0 or turn 1. If anything, they're gonna respect you for it.
Yeah. And if it's a tournament, hell yeah, man, go on and win this whole damn thing. And if it's kitchen table, even if you're playing cEDH, hey, let's shuffle up and play again. Let me try your deck, play mine, and what should I do differently with mine? I mean, Trevor and I do that all the time where we'll play each other's decks. We haven't done it in a while, but we'll do that to kind of, critique and learn from the other person's perspective. Because in a format like this, I always suggest everyone should learn, the main line. Okay, what is Blue Farm trying to do? What is Kinnan trying to do? And, the big decks. But sometimes a deck sits down, you sit down at a table and you're like, what the hell is this person's deck trying to do? And that can be a super powerful thing for that person to have a little bit of that mystery. Are you trying to combo off really fast? Are you trying to stacks out the game? What's the plan here?
Yeah, and I think you're hitting it on the head, man. I think what you said as far as getting other people to interact with your deck and really think about your deck, what it ends up turning into is a collaborative effort. And when you boil down what the collaborative effort is, it turns into a community. And that's kind of the beautiful thing of this, is that we're if you want to really get really kind of deep, somewhat deep into it, since COVID, everything was spell table for a moment. And then after COVID is what do we do, right? LGS is maybe suffering a little bit, maybe not. You go back into the kitchen table, you go back into the COVID, and you go back into the LGSs, and you say, okay, well, what is this all about? Really, this is Magic, and it's going to sound hokey, but it's the gathering. We tend to focus on the gathering side of things. One thing that I'm most proud of this group is that it's created a sense of community. We've had, with Blight Club, right? We started in San Antonio, but since then we're now in 3 different continents, which is insane when you think about it.
Yeah. When you told me that, I was blown away. And
dude,
you just started
insane.
this last summer, so it's been a little under 2 years, right? Or no,
it's a little under 9 months.
It's under 1 year. Yeah, what?
Big difference from years.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, why am I adding an extra year of time in there? No reason. I'm just trying to undermine your efforts.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And I hate you for it, but let me shed light on this. The coolest, one of the coolest things about it is that Austin and San Antonio have always had this kind of little rivalry of like who has the best tacos, right? So naturally San Antonio does, but Austin thinks they do, and that's okay. And it all boils down into, well, who has the better Magic players then? Up until this point, I think, one of our guys from San Antonio told me this today. His name's Enrique. He was like, dude, this thing that we've set up, right? We're now talking almost like, hey, instead of you being that Derevi player, or instead of you being that Kinnan player, you're now Enrique, or you're now Michael. You're now this person, right? We now know each other's names, and we're now brewing together. We're still enemies, right? When it comes to tournaments, but at the end of the day, we're now brewing together, and we're now part of the same club. So this last tournament that Michael Desjardins, as far as top deck goes, I think his highest rank was 7th as far as top rank, or top deck rank. So very good player. He's now heading our Blight Club chapter over in Austin. He hasn't been playing much, so naturally just dropped a couple spots, but he ran this with another guy named Eric, and he ran a Landgo Invitational, which Landgo is another big circuit in the U.S. that is now running a Black Lotus Invitational in, let's see, when is it? Memorial Day weekend? So May 25th,
yeah, talk about that a little bit, because you were right, but when we were chatting beforehand, you brought that up, and yeah, so what is Landgo?
Yeah, okay, so let me, if you don't mind, I'm going to finish that comment, and then I will absolutely go straight into Landgo. So Michael's running this tournament. We had, out of the 25 people that showed up for that event, which was strictly to be run to get someone over to the Landgo Invitational, 21 out of the 25 were Blight Club guys. And that's because Austin and San Antonio are now kind of joined in, right? So we advertise it, people show up, and we have Austin being supported by another city's players, right? So that in itself, as far as community building, I would absolutely sell all of my Magic decks and never play Magic ever again if it meant getting players together and saying, hey, this is what we're doing together, which is the coolest part, right? And so you have San Antonio guys being like, dude, this community is the best, because we're now not only across cities, we're now regionally connected. And then apart from regionally, we're now connected to like Ireland, Tokyo, which are different metas, completely different metas. Southeast Asia, we have a club in Denver. And so everybody's just kind of playing online, figuring out local metas, and trying out different decks. Going on to Landgo. Landgo is it's a company headed by Wayne Young. He's a judge. He has a circuit that basically the way it works is that there are certain tournaments throughout let's just say certain tournaments or events throughout the U.S. The winners of those events, whoever is partnered with Landgo, whoever wins those events, apart from the local prize pool, they will also get an invite to an invitational. The invitational last year was for a time twister, if I remember correctly. The invitational for this year is for a Black Lotus.
Nice.
And so, what he's been able to do is extraordinary, right? And so it's similar to the Top Deck Invitational, right? It's just a circuit. But instead of points, it's just winners of local tournaments that get an invitation to an event. Apart from that, that weekend, there is also another, I want to say another 10K that he's hosting for anybody that wants to go to that. So that's in Nashville on May 25th, if I remember, whatever Memorial Day is. So that'll be Nashville in May, which is extremely exciting. I wish I could make it, but I have a wedding to go to. But otherwise, Blight Club will be there in my honor. So far, I think we have 4 guys going to that invitational. And then, of course, there are always kickbacks. If anybody wins it from the events that we send them to, then Landgo ends up running an event for us for a duel or something of the sort. So, it's like I said, it's a community. It's like we were talking about, Ian. It's a niche within a niche within a niche. But everybody kind of looks out for each other, and it's all community driven. And if everybody focuses on community rather than the very selfish aspect of whatever it is that you want to do, we all get stuff done together rather than individually.
Yeah, it's funny how like you said, hey, we're when you sit down and shuffle up and play, we're enemies, but up until the point of that, and as soon as the game's over, the best of friends,
Absolutely, man.
Every tournament I've played at, everyone has been so friendly, and it's like, and I'm a naturally friendly, hey, what's up, man, to everyone. So it's like, it's just so nice to walk into a room and have that same vibe going around. There's maybe I've run into a couple people in years of playing where it's like, they're not probably wouldn't hang out with them, but it's never been bad. I've just never run into any egregious bad behavior or anything like that. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I think that is what most people don't realize of the competitive community is that I think a lot of the competitive community gets a bad rap for being, this elitist and this, you're not good enough to play or we're going to judge you. I think that's a very small minority when you talk about what the competitive scene is like. For the most part,
couldn't be further from that.
I don't think it could be further from the truth, man. The competitive scene, from my experience, and I've solely play really within the competitive community. For the most part, 98% of the people are super open, want to bring people into this format, which is kind of the sole purpose as to what the Competitive Commander Collective is doing, which is a nice segue right into the CCC.
Yes, I wanted to hear it. We should have, when we introduced you, we should have said that you were also a part of the Competitive Commander Collective. So what don't you do?
What don't I do? I can't juggle 4 tennis balls. I can juggle 3.
And 5.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
perfect.
5. Actually, no. 5 is easy. 6 is hard. So it's all even numbered balls. Only even numbered balls. Like 99 tennis balls, easy. 100 sucks. So yeah, only all numbered tennis balls. But going back to the CCC, the CCC came about when kind of the CAG was dissolved, right? So I don't want to say the CCC is anywhere near what the CAG was doing, right? We're not necessarily an advisory group by definition, but what the CCC is meant to do is almost a resource. If anybody's listening and they're interested, the Competitive Commander Collective, they can Google that. They can also Yahoo or Jeeves it.
If you so choose.
I may be dating myself with Jeeves.
Very much.
I remember a very brief period of time of Ask Jeeves. Yeah, is that even a thing anymore? If I type in Ask Jeeves, take me to askjeeves.com. Holy shit, it's still there. Oh, it's ask.com.
Alexa, askjeeves.com. So basically what it is it's a group of people.
So I just have to say this. I searched it up, and so I typed in Ask Jeeves, and of course, is Ask Jeeves still a thing? So that was in 2006. It was discontinued, but there's a Reddit post up there here, and it says, I remember using Ask Jeeves to hide my porn searching from my parents. Anything?
Yeah, that was probably my post.
It's Jose. Yeah, that is him. That is you.
Yeah. All right. I need to
Sorry, I
delete
just
that
had
post.
to say that. Man.
But yeah, so Competitive Commander Collective, compiled by. I should start with this, right? It's the Ken Baumann, Ian or comedian, Lua, his wife, and Hire. They decided to say, hey, the competitive landscape needs representation. The whole purpose of it, from my humble opinion and from what they've put on their website, is to just get a type of resource for competitive. And this was pre-recognition from WotC. Now WotC's now recognized cEDH as a thing due to their tier system. So that's amazing. What they decided to do is to get a group of people to say, hey, what can we do for the format, right? Collectively, you guys love this format. You guys are representatives of this format. How can we bring people into the format? That's one of the bullet points. How can we disseminate information of what this format is? And the other way to think of it is how can we make sure that the format remains healthy? I think a lot of the health of the format, I think that's very misconstrued, and a lot of people will think health has to do with how does it remain. Give me 1 sec. This is my oven. I think it's a pizza ready. 1 sec.
You're good.
Damn, it's making me hungry.
Yeah, pizza's done.
I wish my oven was going off with pizza in it right now.
Yeah, it's so I think health of the format is sometimes misconstrued, right? Is there are a lot of people that want certain bannings of cards. A lot of people think that certain cards are unfair.
That's our whole format. We're trying to be as unfair as possible.
And that's kind of one of those things, right? From my point of view, is how do we just not break the game, right? I think a lot of the colors are naturally unfair, right? When you think of black, I'm going to strip a card from my deck because your color can't do it, and that's why I play black. Is it fair? Well, when talking about white, Sure, it's unfair compared to white, but that's the nature of the game. So can I draw? Well, green's not going to be drawing, but blue is. So I'm going to play blue. So it's a very, very delicate balance, I think, when it comes to talking about fairness and health. Health, in my opinion, is just making sure that the colors that are opposite of whatever color you're playing keep you in check. And it just depends on the brewer of whether or not you play that card. So naturally, that's what the CCC is. The CCC is trying to say, okay, well, how can we test it, right? We're kind of a litmus test as to what can we do. The people on the ground, right? The people that are seeing this, the tournaments or the local street teams that we have. How can we all gather information to compile this in order to have potentially the ear of WotC and say, hey guys, like this card, it may go past your radar, but this card is broken. Maybe some adjustment to it would be good. We're not here to say absolutely, ban Soul Ring. Soul Ring sucks. I think that'd be a crime. There are certain personal,
it sounds like you're probably of this same mindset, but I'm definitely of the mindset of I'm all in favor of fewer bannings. The least amount of bans is possible.
Yes, I'm of that mindset to where ban the least amount of cards as long as they don't break the game. Just don't break the game and we're good. But this is a personal opinion, right? This is not of the CCC. This is not of anything. Personal opinion, you're here to win. If this color gives you an edge, it gives you an edge. Play it. Let me find a way to deal with it, right?
Yep.
If I play black, I love black. I'm going to play Orcish Bowmasters. If it ever gets banned, I'm going to be upset, right? Am I going to stop playing the game? No, I'll find a way around it. Like I always have to adapt. Just like the other three players need to adapt to my Orcish Bowmasters, right?
Yeah.
If you want, it's one of those things, but it's like I said, it's very, very delicate. And so that's what the CCC is doing. CCC was announced sometime early this year. The applications for it were late last year. But we've been kind of slow on coming out because we want to make sure that we're very diligent and very, very direct on what we want to do. And so we have, the 20 members across the world. It's not just US. So we have people in France, we have people in Germany, we have people in Tokyo, Southeast Asia. So it's across the globe. And the four people that came together to do this were very smart in doing that and collecting these people and saying we still have to cater to different metas. So we have to make sure that we have a collective across the entire globe saying this is what the local meta is. And this is the information that we can provide. Therefore, we concentrate that information and hopefully get it to, right, the powers that be or the overseers, which are WotC. And we're kind of lucky that we have, obviously, Lua that has collected this, and she is now directly, obviously, connected to WotC with the rules. And so it's been a very, very elaborate and very well thought out kind of chess move to where they've collected these people, right, which is the collective, to try to just gather information and not be overseers, not say you have to do this, but more so it's informed consent and informed refusal from WotC. Right, which is I think a very important distinction of everything comes down from WotC and what they think. We can only give information. If they choose to use that information, then that's on WotC, right? If they choose to ban Mana Crypt, it's not our fault. Would Mana Crypt be great to be unbanned? Sure. Can I understand why Mana Crypt's banned? Sure. Should Jeweled Lotus be banned? Personally speaking, I'd love to see it back in my decks.
Me too.
But that's just me.
Me too.
Well, just to touch on, I wrote this down actually as a potential question just to hear your thoughts about the bans, and it's just funny that it just kind of naturally, organically came up. I'm okay if they just never did those bans. I mean, I never had to play against a Nadu, but I heard it was pretty horrible. But even so, like, I'm still of the mindset, I guess, as a Kinnan player, that's like my main deck. I liked that there was another Simic commander that everyone's talking about. Everyone stopped playing Kinnan, and I'm like, oh, cool. I don't have one of the most popular decks anymore. I kind of like this. And then Nadu got banned, and I'm like, oh, everyone came running back. Oh,
yeah. I can see the Nadu argument. I can see that. I never played it, so I'm okay with it being banned.
Same.
The Dockside. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said, it didn't hurt me. Didn't affect me at all.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, but could I have built a Nadu deck? Possibly, because I bought Shuko for $30 damn. And so when I bought Shuko, I was like, I'll build it eventually. And then it got banned. It's like, well, okay, I'm not going to build it eventually. So I sold my Shuko for 20.
So was the
Dockside. Way. Yeah, I mean, Dockside, I can see an argument for that because it was, going back to breaking the game, it became too easy to make infinite mana. And everybody was running it, and colors that naturally weren't going to be making infinite mana start making it. You just throw in a splash of red and just make sure you mulligan. It just became very ugly.
It became. There's another YouTube channel that Jake and Joel are Magic, and I was watching a video of theirs, and they called it Dockside the Gathering. It literally became a game, especially cEDH, just focused on getting Dockside, copying Dockside, reanimating it. It's just everyone was so focused on it.
It became too easy.
I was even running Aboleth Spawn in my Tivit deck just to copy Dockside triggers because it was happening so often.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how outrageous it was.
And that's such a cool tech card.
But that's the thing, right? It becomes outrageous. And so when it becomes outrageous, that's when you say, okay, maybe we're going against what the colors try to do, what the game is trying to do. Now, when you start to throw in the artifacts, right? You start to throw in Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt, arguable. Like that's kind of one of those things to where it's like, I don't know, if you were to throw in a vote, it'd probably be 50-50. Jeweled Lotus, you throw in a vote, it'd probably be pro unbanning Jeweled Lotus. At least that. Because that starts to bring in a little bit more of the fringe. It starts to bring in a little bit more variation. And now it's up to the player to say, is it worth running my fringe commander? Well, now that's up to you, right?
Yeah, so, that's my whole thing behind it, is it kind of gave the little guys a chance.
Yes.
Like, imagine this scenario. Us three, we have to face off against 3 heavyweight professional boxers. We're fucked. We have no chance of winning. But
well, I mean, speak
what
for
if
yourself.
They said,
okay,
everyone
for the sake of
gets
the argument, sure.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. But now let's just say you give us everyone, including them, gets a gun. Well, yeah, now there's guns involved, but we have guns too. So are we still, just from sheer athleticism, probably going to lose? Maybe, but at least now we have a chance. So I kind of, it's like, I would rather everyone be allowed to have a Jeweled Lotus and a Mana Crypt than hey, no one can have it. But guess what? All the decks that were at the top of the list Blue Farm, Kinnan, they're Rogsai. They're still winning all the tournaments. It didn't affect the format really in any way. It just made it harder for the fringe decks to keep up.
But here's the thing. The gun is in the 99, so you're not guaranteed to have it.
That's true. Yeah,
you're
right.
You know what I mean? But that's the risk you take as a player, right? If you want to run this commander, your gun is in the 99. Like, you better mulligan to it or just hope you have it. And so it to your point, I think you're absolutely right. I think stuff like Jeweled Lotus, that was meant for commander, right, should not be banned. The other ones, if you were to say, hey, these are permanently banned except Jeweled Lotus, and Jeweled Lotus is unbanned, I'd be all for it. I'd say absolutely, let's do it. Now you get the other people, the other side of the spectrum where people want Rhystic Study, Mystic, and all this other stuff banned. It's like, guys, like, pump the brakes. We can't do that. Like, not right now. Like, we need to give a little bit back to the community. We need to establish a little bit of rapport. From WotC's standpoint, it's like, okay, we're going to unban this, but we're really going to take a look. Maybe Rhystic, maybe this. I like Rhystic and Mystic in the meta. Am I biased? I don't know. Do I run it? Yes. So maybe I'm biased. I don't know.
But if you're not running it, run it. That's the other thing. It's like, why aren't you running this?
So here's the thing, right? Like, you're playing blue. Run the damn card. If you don't go into it, I'm sorry. This is a meta argument. This is not a, hey, let's all group hug argument. Like, this is part of the game. This is part of the deck. So overall, we're all underneath the overlord of WotC. Whatever they decide, we will adapt. Am I going to stop playing this game ever? Probably not. Am I going to throw a hissy fit for about a day or two? Sure, but my wife has to deal with it, not anybody else. And apart from that, I've loved this game since I was 10. The art is why I got into this game, right? I'm going to age myself. I bought my first pack when the Dark came out. I still have my original, what is it? Elves of Deep Shadow. Nice. That came out in the Dark. So I still have that, and I run that in my TNT list. Yeah, awesome. Man. This game has been a part of my life for a very, very long time. Before I started liking girls, and
you liked Magic cards.
I like Magic cards, man. Magic cards will never leave you. So
they'll never hurt you.
They'll never reject
they'll never hurt you. They'll never go to someone else. So it's
unless you trade them.
That's my
what was the card you bought for 30, sold for 20? That one left you. But you sold it. Yeah. It left you on your terms.
Yeah, but that was my terms, exactly. That was my terms. So that's what matters. But yeah, man, it's just at the end of the day, this is completely about community, and it's this group of friends, right? I think, going deep into it, we're all nerds, right? We're all in some way, shape, or form kind of outcasts of society. We're all maybe not the most popular kids in high school, but we all have cardboard to lean back on and counter spells to lean back on, and so it's a very, very beautiful thing from a very hippie standpoint, right? It's just it's the community, and it's a group of friends. And
fuck being popular, fuck being normal.
It doesn't matter, dude. And that's one of those things, right? It's like that's the cEDH people within us, right? We're not the group, we're the niche, and I'm perfectly fine with being the niche.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, well said. Do you have anything else to say, Jose?
Well, I actually I want to hear about the flubs only tournament. I want to hear about this.
Yeah. So this, I remember very specifically listening to a YouTube video of comedian talking with Ken Baumann about a flubs list when Bloombro was coming out. I want to say it was September, something like that. We were about 3 months into Blight Club, and we were making proxies for because we're a proxy open club. I was listening to this video, and Ken was like, if anybody wants to enter a tournament, I will absolutely sponsor, 20 decks of a proxy flubs list, of our Turbo Fool list, and I think it'd be hilarious. And I remember listening to this video and being like, these guys over at Too Deep and Ken Baumann are like exactly what Blight Club is. It's just like, we're just a bunch of degenerates, and we like stirring up the meta. We're a bunch of trolls. Let's run an only flubs tournament. And so I talked to a couple people in the club. I was like, what do you guys think of an only flubs tournament? They're like, you're insane. I was like, okay, great. Let me reach out to Ken, see what he says. So I emailed Ken, and I was like, hey, dude, what do you think? You don't know me. This is what Blight Club is. We're TOs. We're running tournaments. We want to run an only flubs tournament. What are your thoughts? He goes, I'm all in. Let's do this. Let's figure this out. I said, okay, cool. My wife lives in Fort Collins, and I said, cool. I think with almost the brewery capital of the U.S., let's just run it at a brewery. So let's figure this out. I went through all the lines of trying to figure out how to run a Magic tournament at a brewery. Secured a spot. The guys over at Gilded Goat in Fort Collins, if you're in Colorado, go to Gilded Goat. They have great beer. They're amazing. They said, absolutely, we love Magic. Let's do it. So we secured a spot. I reached out to Ken and I said, hey, dude, we're doing this. Are you in? And he goes, I'm 100% in. So what 5 months of planning has now turned into a March 29th event of only flubs. So the weekend before April Fool's Day, we're doing a Flubs the Fool only. That's your only limitation. Your commander is Flubs. We're running it at Gilded Goat in Fort Collins, Colorado. There's 2 locations. The one on South College is the one we're running it at. It's the entire upstairs of the brewery. We're still trying to figure out a food truck that's going to be there, but I have a feeling it's either going to be barbecue or lobster rolls. We're starting super early. It's going to be 4 rounds of Swiss. And then a cut, and then a final pod. I don't think it's going to go past like 4 or 5 o'clock, which means the afternoon is left up to whoever wants to go out and have another beer. But then again, we're doing it at a brewery, so who knows what everybody's inebriation level is going to be at.
True.
But basically, it
would be hard not to.
It's crazy, dude. It's an only flubs event. It's also because we're Blight Club, it's a land go invitational. So the winner of this flubs event gets an invite to the Black Lotus event in Knoxville. The tournament itself, if you come in and win with flubs, you're going to get a Gaia's Cradle. It may be moderately played, near mint. I don't think we don't go to heavy played, so at the minimum, moderately played. Spots 2, 3, and 4 are going to be a Judge Promo Wooded Foothills, because Ken and the Too Deep guys that made this Turbo Fool list, for the 8 iterations of their list, they forgot to put in a Wooded Foothills. So we're 2, 3, and 4 are going to get a Judge Promo Wooded Foothills. Everybody that comes is going to get a signed card of flubs by Adam Rex. And we're right now looking for certain prizes for the raffle. If I can get in touch with Adam Rex and hopefully things align, the stars align, the main raffle will be pretty freaking cool. So yeah, it's more so it's an experience more so than a tournament. We're labeling it as a Black Velvet event through Blight Club, which we're catering the Black Velvet events to be once a year, and they're very unique events that are an experience over with the shell of a cEDH event. We're already planning Black Velvet 2, which is going to hopefully be Mardi Gras next year in Las Vegas, or in New Orleans, I'm sorry. So they're more so elaborate events. They're very unique events, probably capped at 64 like this year. So if you're in the know, you're in the know. And if you can make it, you can make it. I would love to include more people, but I think having an intimate setting, which I think 64 is intimate compared to like Fishbowl and all these other things that are like close to 150 to 200 people.
It's easier to keep under control. And like you said, this is your first tournament that you're doing. So it's probably going to be a little easier that way as opposed to like, hey, we have 200 people that signed up for this. Might get a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, though, it's I know you said first tournament, but it's our fourth tournament.
Okay.
But it's the first big one, right? So the first tournament was 30 people, the second was 36, and we're still running 1Ks. We're still doing stuff regionally, but we want to focus on more so other states and things that attract people from other states. So we have a video coming out hopefully at the end of this week with comedian and Ian kind of advertising this event. But this is our niche. And, we talked about niche within a niche within a niche. The niche is EDH, right? The niche within the niche is competitive EDH. And the niche within the niche within the niche is fun cEDH. So, the next year's Mardi Gras event will be a different spin on things. It's not going to be flubs, obviously, but we're trying to do things that excite people, that still bring people in with the cEDH. Within the cEDH landscape, we still want to cater to people trying to get points and grinding for invitationals. With Top Deck being out, Landgo's the next big one. So we're talking with Landgo. We're creating a Texas circuit with guys from Waco and Austin. Hopefully trying to get more cities in. Creating a circuit for that. So like I said, everything is layered to the point to where, every time you come out to a Blight event, there's at least going to be 2 or 3 perks that you can get. And it's not just one of those run-of-the-mill, I'm going to go out to an LGS, hopefully get a card, and if I don't get a card, I'm going to go home and pout. It's like, no. You still have other things that you can get within these, and that's our niche. And I'm very proud of not only what we've built, but what everything, all of Blight Club across the 3 continents that we're on that we've built to say, hey, you can still come out, you can still get cards, you can do all that, but this is what you get on top of it. And at the end of the day, it's you're getting friendships on top of it. You're getting better plays, you're getting better games, you're getting, honestly, you're getting poker chips as seasonal rewards if you join our leagues. And if anybody wants, I'm going to plug this, shameless plug. If you guys want to start a Blight Club in your town, just reach out to us. We're about to publish our website. There's a way that you can get in contact with us. It's all about community. And if you follow our motto, which is player first, it is 100% player first. You know, all the fees that we get within the club, they don't go to my personal account. They go to the Blight Club fund, and we try to cater to the player, and that's number one to me, and it'll be number one to anyone that's associated with Blight Club. And it's not personal. It's for the community. It's for us, which is why Blight Club really aligns to the competitive Commander Collective, and we're all about the community. We're all about wanting people to get into this format. We're all about wanting to just have players play what we play, and we'll help you grow. We'll help you do anything you want to do. Send a deck list, we'll help you tune it, and we won't make you feel bad about your choices. But
yeah. Dude, yeah, we'll have to talk more about this too. I'll have to see if I bring something to one of the local game stores. There's not really a cEDH, scene in my town. I'm in Central Illinois, but there's one that's about an hour away that used to kind of have a cEDH scene. I think they still do. I was talking with one of the guys the other day, but they organize tournaments. So yeah, man, let's just keep growing the game. Like you said, it's a niche within a niche. And I was touching on, I feel like there's that cEDH player within everyone. Everyone kind of wants to, has that curiosity of how powerful can I make something? And yeah, do it. Like you said, Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Yeah, just do it, man.
Every time I ever show someone cEDH, like, hey, let's just play a game, play this deck. This is how to do it, and I'll even help them beat me with the deck. Here I'll tell you how to beat me, and they end up liking it. They're kind of like, yeah, this is more fun than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about certain things, and there are certain barriers, right? There are barriers to cEDH, and it's hard to be blind to them, right? I think a lot of the cEDH decks, if you go into Moxfield and you go into cEDH deck and you have duels in there's a gate, and one of those is the wallet. What we're trying to do, one of the things that the CCC and what Blight Club is trying to do is break down that barrier. We've broken down the barrier as far as wallet by just being proxy open. So we offer proxies, like we sell proxies, and they have Blight Club backings and all that stuff. But besides that, it's $2 for an Underground C. Like, just put an Underground C in your deck. Trust me, it's going to be better than a Shockland or a Tapland any day of the week. Yeah. The other thing that we're doing is we have a guy in our Discord that's part of the CAG for Pauper. So Pauper cEDH, so cPDH. So we've started to introduce that regionally here in San Antonio, which on Tuesdays we run our cEDH league, but on Thursdays we run our Pauper cEDH league, so cPDH. And that's a completely and strictly Pauper league. So that's another thing that you can do, right? The other barrier is the mindset, is the winning mindset. If you're able to break through that winning mindset, like you're talking about, it's just bring out your grossest stuff. You're limited to commons in your 99, and your commander is uncommon. It doesn't have to be legendary. The only really two bans that you really have to think about and worry about are Ristic and Mystic. Come out with that list. And if we're able to get people into cPDH, which is the Pauper EDH, and come out with a winning mindset, and you're still getting people that are winning turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, you can absolutely do that. And so I'm very invested also in cPDH, which is, we've flirted with the idea of doing a Blight Club casual. But I think the sweet spot is saying, okay, well, what is Blight Club? Well, Blight Club is really competitive, right? So if it's competitive, let's stick to the competitive nature. but let's completely break down the barrier of the wallet and say, we're doing Pauper. Okay, so Pauper, what do you have? Well, you have Arabella. Arabella's amazing. You have Tatiova. Tatiova's great.
Oh yeah.
And then you have other fringier stuff, when it comes to cEDH, and you have, what's that? There's a red blue Kedis Malcolm. You have a bunch of stuff that you can do.
And I like that you're doing that, because a lot of times, so I'm on Reddit a lot, and I will see, a lot of times people will say, how do I make this deck or competitive? And too often I see people saying, don't use that, play casual instead. cEDH is, you have to play the best decks. And it's like, who the hell determined that? I mean, yes, if you want to win a tournament, you're probably going to have to think about, playing one of the 10, maybe 15, 20 of the, one of those, most powerful, popular, true, tried and true tested commanders, if you want to do well. But who the hell says you can't do, a Flubs only tournament or a Pauper cEDH? It really is a mindset at the end of the day. And why not experiment with this stuff? Yeah, is this just for fun? And is it, adding to the meta in any way? No, but who cares? We still we're just experimenting and having fun. Like why not do those things?
Exactly. So it really is breaking down the biggest thing is the mindset, right? And if we can break down the mindset of things and establish, bring in people that are coming in from casual, and say, hey, dude, it costs $100 to get a competitive deck. Your casual deck is 3 times this, right? Bring in a competitive Pauper deck, get rid of that, tackle that mindset, come in to win, and you're playing a competitive deck. Now you just filter them into the cEDH portion of it where we're proxy open and say, okay, well, it costs you the same to get a cEDH proxy deck. Come play this. And so you're naturally filtering people into the mindset of competitive, which is all we're trying to do, right? Is just realize that there's people out there that won't judge you, that won't tell you you're playing the wrong deck, that won't tell you you're playing the wrong cards. And we just want you to not worry about turn 0, not worry about your own deck, and just try to win. And if you beat us, we'll respect you for it. And if you don't beat us, we'll help you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And at the end, dude, at the end of the day, all that does is it naturally and subconsciously creates a community. And if that happens, then my job's done.
Hell yeah.
Man, I love it. I love it. Hey, and we're at about an hour. I think that's perfect. Dude, I hope let's keep in touch, man. Let's see what we can do.
I'd love to.
And dude, let's play Let's play a game at some point soon.
Are we hopping into a channel right now and playing?
I'm not opposed. Like, how do we Oh, all right. I'm gonna stop. We'll stop the recording.
Well, before that,
because we're gonna go play maybe.
Jose, are there any socials that you want to plug for the Blight Club or the CCC?
Yes.
Yeah. So CCC, just Google Competitive Commander Collective. That'll come up. If you want to look at my face, I'm all the way down to members near the bottom. If you want to look at more important things, it's on there. If you make it, you make it. As far as Instagram, the.blight.club. We're on there. X is at Blight_club. I wish I could make it all uniform, but I couldn't because I guess there are other Blight clubs. I don't know. I don't care about them. Blue Sky is at Blight Club. Just look for us. We'll find it. You can, if you know who Ken Baumann is, go look at his friends list, and it's on there. We have if you don't know who any of these people are, just look for a skull with hands and an hourglass, and that's our pirate flag. So that's Blight Club. If you see that, you know Blight Club.
Hell yeah.
We're going to start a YouTube channel here probably this week. Our YouTube channel is going to be focused on meta stuff, some intro to stuff. We want to focus on our first video is going to be what Blight Club is. That way, people that hop into our channel can say, okay, what is Blight Club? But for the most part, it's going to be, we've talked about certain things like if you want to go into your first tournament, this is what you should do. Mulligans are super important. Very, very meta driven, but not to the point to where it's going to bore you. You want to simplify it for the intro level tournament goer. I mean, I played my first tournament at Snowy Summit too, so it's one of those things to where I gathered so much information by going and having a bunch of tiki drinks and Mai Tais with some of the better guys in my club, and we just talked about, hey, what do I do on a mulligan if I'm facing a Magda, if I'm facing a TNT, like what do I focus on? What are their decks doing? It's very, very simplistic. We're not going to talk into things that'll bore you, hopefully. It'll be 10-minute videos of just what to do. What is the stack? I mean, it could be as simple as what is the stack? Even further, what is upkeep, right? If someone's playing Magic, it's like, why do I have untap, upkeep, draw? What is upkeep? I think those things are very important even for the new Magic player.
But don't be afraid to at some point go into those, deeper discussions. I love that stuff. And Trevor does too. That's kind of why we started this podcast, is we want to get into those, nerdy, super in-depth. Okay, what do you do if you're playing against these players, and what's the theory behind this card? And I love all that stuff. I love deep dives.
Exactly. I mean, there's a deep dive that we could potentially go on that I just, when we were talking, Ian, when you called me and I was like, I'm just leaving right now. I'm leaving a brewery, or I'm leaving a beer garden. I'm going back home right now. I was talking to a guy that we just played this tournament, and the Austin meta, they're all on a Abhorrent Oculus, and nobody is on Abhorrent Oculus here in town.
Abhorrent Oculus. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it's a Dustmorn card. You should look that up. It's a really good way of. It's a really good way of
typing that in.
Dude, cheating in creatures.
Oh, yeah, dude, I love this card. I play this card in Standard. It is so much fun.
It's ridiculous.
It's
ridiculous. So a lot of the Austin meta on their TNT list, they're running Abhorrent Oculus to cheat in creatures.
Hell yeah.
So a lot of this stuff and a lot of this meta, right? Talking about regionally and getting people together and collaborating and brewing together. Like these guys are playing Abhorrent Oculus and strictly going and tuning their decks for Abhorrent Oculus and like cheating out Gaia's Cradle and Abhorrent Oculus so that they can get Seedborn Muses out, Grand Abolishers out with avoiding the stack.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was actually thinking how that card could be implemented into cEDH because I love that card.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, talk to the Austin guys. Yeah, they will talk your ear off as far as like why this is important. So little deep things like this, like deep dives. Yeah, there's a lot of the stuff that we want to put into the channel. But I think the first off is do a very one-off of is this thing on, and is just going in and saying, hey, what are we? What is Blight Club? What do we do? What does it mean to people? And then go from there. But yeah, those are all socials. You can reach us if you want to reach out to email. It's the.blight.club@gmail.com. I'm always on it. If you want to play flubs, we're on there. We're at March 29th. Find a way to get to us. If you need to email me. I'd put on my cell phone, but that's dangerous. So I won't do that. But email me. It'll be fun stuff. Like I said, we want to hit a niche, and I think we've hit our niche. And if you can't find us on socials, follow Comedian, follow Ken Baumann, follow us, right? Where we're talking right now. Let's go to cEDH and we're bound to give you information that you need and that you want.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we'll put all of your socials in the description below, so you can easily find that there. But yeah, it's great talking to you, Jose.
Likewise.
Yeah,
likewise.
Seriously, man.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. We should at some point when we start doing gameplay videos, we'll definitely have you on.
Dude, I'm in. If you want to get gameplay videos, we've been like 3 months into gaming with other people, other channels. Let's grow each other's channels. Let's spread the gospel. So I'm in.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, until next time, I think that's it for today, right?
Yep. And as we always say, even though we're preaching the sermon, we'll see you all in hell.
All right. Later.
Amazing.